Hey, thanks for joining me again, Ethan Noah, and probably one other viewer. So, so FCEL did very well today, as we've seen, and I was very happy when I got in my car after work, got on my phone, and was like, heck, yeah, dude, let's go. Because, with the week leading up to this, you'll see, as you saw, this is kind of the up, down, up, and then we took a bigger hit here than, kind of what I thought would happen. I thought it would stop a little bit higher, but it was what was expected. I got in on the dip. I was like, okay, this has great potential. And so yeah, what I thought was surprising though is I thought I would dip a little bit more and then shoot back up because if you take a look at the last couple times it shot up, the RSI indicator hit right about 6. And this time it didn't really hit 6, which means that people really want to get in on this dip and are thinking, and this isn't really the small guys. So like me and you getting into the stock, it's not going to make this line really move very much because a lot of the big guys, the big guys are what moves the stock. So that's a really bullish sign. But if you look at like the last, since November, um, whenever the elections were final and all that stuff, there was some speculation, but which might have been why we saw some of this. But yeah, so definitely a bullish trend, and I think it's going to continue based on the hype, based on the speculation, and all FCEL has to do to really jump, is announce a deal kind of like, what Plug did with South Korea, right? Or what they did with Renault, the French car maker. So, and just have another company really pump a ton of money into this company to really build that investor faith. So what we've kind of seen is, they'll jump a bunch and then there'll be a sell-off where people take profits. That's to be expected in any kind of stock. But what was surprising to me was, through the week of November 9th to the 16th, the RSI stayed very overbought. Very overbought. And we're kind of seeing that. This kind of seems to be the trend now. Where you see it and it's very overbought, and then it dips to right around zero point 0.6, right around that area. And a couple times, it dipped a little bit lower here and here. But right here, it seems to be on the uptrend again, which was a little bit surprising for me, just based on, the lack of news. I thought it would kind of remain steady for a couple more days, even leading up to the earnings. But a lot of the times you'll see, people buy, while waiting for the earnings, and then they'll take their profits. So we might see people taking profits tomorrow when the stock dip a little bit. But I do think that the majority of people are going to hold and kind of see what happens with the earnings. But here's the thing that I wanted to send in the group me, but, long message, is the earnings don't really matter all that much, okay? Because this stock is trading way, way above its value right now as of current. And people just have a lot of faith that this stock is going to make them a lot of money. And we had decent volume today. Really skyrocketed. I don't know if that's the lack of shorts getting in, or what, but it seems that there's a pretty big portion of individuals that just are holding this. They might sell off a little bit of their profit, and then they might just hold and see what happens with this stock, So the two lines here are what I've seen for the support. So right now it's at 1812. I think that the support level now, based on where it's balanced a couple days, is right around 1650 is the next line of support. And then if that falls, well, we might see right around 15 to 1510. But I think that leading up to this earnings, we're going to continue to see the stock price rise. I expect the stock price this week to hit about $22, and then we'll see a sell-off, and then I guarantee we'll see it back in the 19th. So kind of what I'm trying to do with this is, once I see $22, I'm going to sell off about 25 to 35% of what I currently have in FCEL, just to take some profit, reduce the risk, and see where I can put that money in other stocks. I do think that this is a long-term hold, but there's just too many factors for me to not take a little bit of profit and leave, 65, 75% of what I have in the stock. I'm up okay, about 10%, but I would like to see that at obviously, you want to see that number rise. But I have a lot of faith in FCEL. I do think that in the next coming months, we are going to see news come out that they have broke a big deal. I really do, especially with all the opportunity. If they can clinch some of the, like the market and some of the opportunities that are floating around, and they can, do well and take a deal, like I said, we're going to see a very, very large increase in the market price. Because people are investing now based on speculation. The people who wait to see that stuff is happening with the company have not yet got in. And I think that that's a lot of big guys, because they're like, all right, so FCEL, I mean, it could just as easily drop to $10, and I'll wait to see if that happens, but if they release news, I might get it. So there's kind of, I think that there's quite a few buyers that are kind of just waiting to see what happens with it, to see if they want to get in. And then on a red day, a nice bleeding day, they'll take it and they'll get in. But yeah, so don't worry about the earnings too much unless they release terrible numbers or really good numbers. And I don't see either happening, because there isn't really much, news reported on this company over the past couple months. It's basically running on no news, but there is a lot of speculation and there is a lot of hype for the next, like I said, during Biden's presidency, and the world, especially the world's turning to EVs and trying to reduce, carbon emissions and all that stuff. So this stock has a lot of potential, a lot. I do think that it's like a 70-30 shot of it dropping. So 30%, in my opinion, it drops to 10. 70%, it'll go and just keep rising. So I'm going to take that risk. I have 4K in it right now. And I'll show you guys my portfolio here in a little bit. But yeah, I do think that, with a nice hold, Dennis, because I know you got in today. And I see that you're up, which is good because you sent that message around 11. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But with all the green, or with the couple of red days we had last week, I do think that with the trends, we'll see a couple of red days and then a bunch of green, because the market's still in a very bullish time period right now, where people are like, oh, I got to get into the stock market. Oh, I got to do this. So yeah, a lot of faith. And then let me tell you, Noah, why I think ZOM has a lot of potential, okay? So this company is, they're into, diagnosing animals, very early stage. And, obviously there's a lot of people around the world that own animals. I know that, I'm going to be getting a dog here whenever I, move with my fiance and, find a nice apartment with a fence, or rent a house with a fence. Just be sure it's all safe and good to go. But dogs are kind of the part of the family. They are like family members. So just as you take care of yourself, people are like, man, I gotta take care of this dog, because they raised the dog for so long. They want the dog to stay around, be healthy, all this stuff. And that's why you've seen this, because they're saying around March time, okay, the end of March, that they are going to release several different items into that market. One being, it's like a very early diagnosing. Let me see if I can pull it up. Just got off work. ZOM Investor Relations. So let's look at their shareholder letter. So if you want to take a second and read this, basically they have a lot of cash now where they can, use that, and they said like the next 5 years, I think, that after I read this, they said that like they'll have cash for like the next 5 years or so, which is great, because, that means that they're going to have a very, very good balance sheet. Plus, I was looking at public opinion on what they're releasing, and the public opinion is, yes, we could definitely use this if it is the right price and it's not insane. In some of these smaller, clinics, where, you'd see clinics from all across the U.S., maybe even, shipping some of these into clinics, around, maybe Europe, maybe in China. I don't know but I'm just speculating there. But So yeah, this stock has a lot of potential. We are of course approaching our planned March 30th commercial launch of Trueforma, our point of care diagnostic platform. So that is what all the hype's about. That's why this stock is rising so much. They're also releasing a couple other ones. Yeah, so they're also speculating in expansion. That's what I was talking about with, expanding into, different foreign markets and that kind of stuff. So ZOM, I'm being careful about getting in based on this. Okay, so I got in today with I only put $250 in today. I'm like, I'll see what happens. But, yeah, so this stock, though, if you look at just from December, 21 cents, now they're sitting at $1.08 with a high of 148. And if we take a look, let me see if I can just... So I like to use this. Basically, you just put it at the high, and then you put it at the low. And then that'll give you your supports and buy times. So around, it has a good support of, this is a couple cents off. So let's say 94, almost 95 cents would be their support. I actually have a buy at 90 cents. Well, I put that in today for limited buy in case it dropped. And then I have one in at 0.7 and 0.6 for the rest of my allocation of the funds I want to put into that company. But I think March time, if this does really well and it can stay above $1 for like a week or two, we'll see a large influx of big investors into this company because if obviously with big cash, you're not going to be like, all right, bro, let me throw this into a stock that has just as much potential to go down as go up. They want to see a week of a good support, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm like, I don't want, because last week, people were flipping this stock like crazy. There weren't many holders, okay? The stocks that they have flipped several times in the same trading day, which is when you see this big increase. Because people are taking profits and, all that stuff, which they should do. I mean, if they're up, 100%, at least pull 50 of that out, So, and now... we're looking for big investors to start getting in. This is a very low market cap. If this gets big investors, bro, oh boy, you'll see some big numbers fly. Which is why I'm kind of like saying, you know what? I'll put a little bit of money in. I'll see what happens. Whatever happens, fine. Because it's only a little bit of money, and I think the risk to reward is far greater on the reward side. So that's kind of where I'm at with ZOM. Like, that's why I say it's a March hold. Because after March, their expansions are good, all that stuff. But I think you're going to start seeing, not this, but just this. You'll start seeing this. And that'll kind of be its range, like 5 cents. Well, the equivalent of that at like, $3-4. So I'm looking to make, maybe $1,000 off this with, only like $500 in or so, because I will sell a little bit early, just to secure profits and then leave the rest run and put a limit sell in. So that's kind of why I'm talking about ZOM. And I know that there's a lot of other stocks that are going on right now, but I got to pick my plays. I can't get greedy. I can't be like, oh shit, I got to sell out of, FCEL so I can get into this. Not everything's the best stock. Pick your plays. And even if it doesn't work out, okay, at least you let it run and you learn from it. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And let me show you my portfolio. Like I said, I did touch 13K today, which I'm very proud of, especially starting, at like close to $4,000, like 6 months ago. But before that, as you know, I was invested for a while. And here's another piece of advice I have is like, for like getting in early, like, so it's called FOMO. Whatever. It's called the fear of missing out, right? So I have suffered from this since 2018, 2017, when I first started investing and first started understanding how the hell everything works. So this is why my average is so high, because I'm stupid, okay? Like, I'm stupid sometimes. Overall, I think I'm a pretty smart guy, but sometimes I can be really dumb. So if you look at the past week, January 13th, I'm like, God damn, this stock's going. I gotta get in. And I look at it, I'm like, I see a little dip here. Let's get in. And you know what happens? Just exactly as I expected. You look at the RSI and it'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Well, you know, not all the time, but it'll give you a good indicator. So that's kind of what I'm saying about fuel cell is like, you know, although there's a lot of potential to run, be very careful about your entry points because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And that's why it's better to wait out a play than to jump in all and be like, okay, I got to get in with 100% of the allocated cash for this. So be very careful. I ended up placing limit buys on this, but as you can see, let me show you. See right here. So limit buy at $16. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Guess what? It hit $15.50. I'm an idiot. Like, I looked at the chart. I knew exactly what I was supposed to do, exactly what my entry price should be, and I was like, okay, no, it's gonna go. No, I'm not. It's not gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. You know, a couple hours doesn't. You know, you gotta just sit on these, and that's something I really need to, you know, attempt to find myself. You know, there's always going to be another place. So if this price doesn't hit, okay, at least you had a plan. So leave your plan in flight and go from there. Look at the charts. Try to use that to your advantage. Some people say charts are trash. You got to go off volume. I've had more success off using the charts, especially as like, you know, a couple-year-old investor with not an insane amount of money in the market. But yeah, and then I have a lot of faith in Ethereum. Yeah. You know, I'm doing okay, but like I said, I could have played this much better. Just because I saw it I started looking at this. I'm like, all right, so there's dips. It's still going up. Maybe I'll see a dip, you know, here. It never did, and then they announced the news, and I was like, dang. So I got in. Man, I just need to be careful. But for this, I was at work. I mean, I only did get in with $150. You know, whatever, $13, who cares? But you know, I was at work, so I do have, like I said, I think I actually, yeah, I canceled these, but I put in limit buys, like I said, just in case the stock price would drop. So that's kind of what I have right now. Continue on your plays. Don't get too diversified. Put your money where you think it's going to work, and just let it ride. Trust yourself, trust your judgment, and trust the momentum. Alright, so that's kind of what I have right now, and I'm going to stop the video. Alright, thanks for listening, guys, and whoever else watches this. Bye.